Hey everybody, welcome back to another ArcGIS tutorial. This video here is going to cover how do we create features on a map? How do we plot points? How do we draw lines? How do we create polygons and get them to show up as, feature layers on our map? This video is directly going to follow the georeferencing guide that I made previously, but if you are just looking at drawing the points and drawing the lines and the polygons, you'll still get something out of this video. Just pay attention to the parts where we're creating different classes and how we create those. And we'll go over more later on how to add points to an existing layer, but this is going to be how you're going to create points to a layer that does not yet exist. Okay, so right now what we have here is I have this map of that we georeferenced from Middlebury, Indiana, showing a road closure along this road. And we want to, let's say we already have all of our layers. We just want a line to show where this road is going to be closed. Well, we know that it's this West 50 North right here. So what I'm going to do, the way you're going to create stuff, right, is in the Edit tab, you come up and you click Create. But when we do that here, we have a thing that says No Editable Layers. And that's because all we have in this map is the base map, which we can't edit, and the JPEG, which we're trying to put points on a GIS, not points on a JPEG. That's why we brought the JPEG into the GIS. So we're going to need to draw those. So the first thing we need to do if we want to draw, a line, we want to digitize this road closure, is we're going to come down to our catalog. And you're going to expand your databases. Mine here is called georeference.gdb because my map I'm working on right now is called georeference. Yours will be called whatever you named your project. We're going to right click on it, expand the new option, and we're going to click Feature Class. Now I'm going to call this Closed Road. And the alias, we'll just also call it Closed Road. Next, we need to select the feature class type. So we can select a lot of things: polygon, line, point, multi-patch, multi-point, 3D object, annotation, dimension. But because we're drawing a line, we're going to select line. And you can choose whether you want to include M values for route data, which we don't need to do, or Z values, which is going to be used to store 3D data. We also don't need that. And we'll leave this add output data set to current map, and I'll show you why here in a second. Just leave that checked. We're going to click next. Here we're going to have, these are where you create the fields that you want to have. We got an object ID, a shape. We're going to add a new one and just call it type. And that's going to be of type text. Okay, then we click next. Rest of the stuff you really don't need to mess with. It should be good by default. Spatial reference, we're going to go with WGS 84, which is what the rest of the map here is using. And it's what pretty much everybody uses for general purpose. The tolerance is fine, resolution is fine, and storage configuration is fine. So we're going to click Finish. And what you're going to see now is we have this closed road pop up on the map. Now, if you remember earlier, we left that box checked that said add output data set to map. If we didn't click that, it wouldn't show up over here. We'd have to drag it from over here onto our map. So we save a step by leaving that box checked. But now what you'll notice is if we select that layer, we go to Edit and we say Create, we can now select this closed road and it's going to let us draw lines. So here, we can create a line feature. We can go over here, make a right angle. We can do all sorts of different things. We just want to draw a line. We want to draw a line right here on this road that's closed. Now, this line was drawn with pen and is not great, but we know that underneath it, it's pretty much straight. So for demonstration purposes, we're just going to consider this as a straight line, and I'm going to click my start point. I'm going to click my end point, and I double click to end, and now if I turn off our raster, I still see that we have this nice line right here. Now it doesn't look great. In fact, it looks kind of bad. So we can come in here and we can modify it a little bit. And we can click, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. We can come in here and we can edit the vertices. So I can add a vertice there. I can drag that down to fit, but I have snapping turned on, so it doesn't really want to do that. So we'll turn that off. And now I can precisely drag that where I want it. I can come over here. We can add another vertice, do everything we can to sort of fit that to what's actually underneath. All right, for demonstration purposes, I'm happy with that. We click the little checkbox down here to commit those changes, and now we've digitized that closed road. Pretty cool. So now we've created a thing with lines, but let's say then our boss comes back and he says, hey, I also need you to put down where Companions Forever is at. We need to show that on this road closure map because it's really important. Same thing with the Bright Morning Star bed and breakfast. We need both of these things because they're heavily impacted by the road closure, whatever. Well, we're gonna have a problem because this closed road feature, remember, is for lines. How do we do points? Well, we're going to come back into our catalog. We're going to right click, we're going to say new, and we're going to go to feature class again. And here we're going to type in, I have to save our edits from before. All right, cool. Points of interest, alias will just be the same. And we want these to be points. We don't need the Z value. We want to add it to our map. Here, I'm going to add a field for name. And remember, all this stuff is good, so we can skip it and just click finish. And now we have a points layer added here. So now again, we come into edit, create. We can come down here and select our points. And I very simply can just drop a point at each of these locations. And now if we turn off our map, you'll see we have our points. Now you're going to say, we added a field for name. What do we do with that? Well, if we come into the attributes table, we'll see we have name null. We can just come in here and type in whatever. Companions Forever. Oh, you know why it didn't save? Because I told it to be a long. That's fine. If we were to come, well, let's see. If we come in here into fields, we can change that type, I think. Nope, we can't. We can add a new one, though. Name. Well, let me do that. Let's call it title. Make sure when you create your thing that you create it with the proper data type. Okay, we do that. Then I click save. Save. And now in title, I can come in and call it Companions Forever. And this was a bed and breakfast. Cool. So now we have those titled. That's why we created those extra fields. We also created one here on closed roads that was type, and we can just say closure. And then that'll save. So that's how we do a line and a point. Pretty cool, right? Well, let's say now they're like, wow, you did such a great job doing all of that. We have these little ponds down here. Can you build a polygon around those ponds to show that there's water? Absolutely. The only problem is we only have a point layer and a line layer. So we repeat the same process. We come down here, we say new feature class. We're going to call this just locations, and it's going to be of type polygon. We're going to want the name of it, and that's a text field. Everything else is good. Something's wrong. What did we miss? You know what we missed? We forgot to save before. So I save, and I can click finish here. And now we come to our locations and we say create. We can click the locations here, and now I can draw little polygons with each click of my mouse being a vertex. And when I'm done outlining it, I simply double click my final point, and that's it. So now if we turn off this, we see that these little ponds are outlined. We have all of our nice little layers digitized from what we had. If you already have a shapefile, like let's say you were to have a shapefile of, let's just do this example. I'll show you right now. Let's say, let me open up another project that I have. Let's say here you have a list or a file of all the Jersey Mike's sub-locations in the United States and Canada, which I've used in many of my videos. But all of a sudden, Jersey Mike's adds a new location, and you need to know where it's at. Well, conveniently, you already have these layers, so we can just say edit, create. You can go to this Jersey Mike's layer that you're in, and come in here and say, boom, there's my new Jersey Mike's, and then you'll just save it, and you'll move on. I'm not going to save it because that Jersey Mike's probably doesn't exist. I clicked a random street, but that's how you would edit and create features that are already part of it, that are part of an already existing feature class. So I hope you found this video useful on how to digitize maps. One of these days I'll come through and digitize an entire map for you and just kind of show you what that looks like and how that process works. But for all intents and purposes, this kind of covers it, right? If you have any questions, drop those in the comments down below. If you liked the video or found it useful in any way, liking the video helps, and subscribing is a free, easy way to support the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. All right, until next time, thanks.